Hi guys, Simon Palmer here from Chichester Osteopath on the south coast of England. So, I was asked today, actually yesterday, do I need to be stretching? And the answer is not the same for everyone. Because I played sport a lot of my life, and I would always stretch and warm up for 20 minutes or so before playing hockey or squash. And that's a bit different because I know my kids, when they warm up, they don't do a lot of stretching. They do the SAQs, strength, agility and quickness exercises to warm up, so much less stretching. I see athletes on the telly stretching, maybe less so than I used to. But for me, stretching was always an important part of warming up. And certain muscles like to be stretched, but when they're playing up, or if you're getting pain from them, you tend to get good pains and bad pains, and you sort of inherently know which one's good and not. But sometimes there's some confusion, and usually muscles on extremities are usually okay to stretch, usually. But there's a big one at the front of the spine, which is sort of deep in your tummy, which is called your psoas muscle, PSOAS. And it contracts a lot to protect you, to protect your spine, because the spine is such a sensitive area with the spinal cord running through it. When you strain it, or you just strain the little joints in between the vertebrae, the facet joints, the body tends to quite often go overboard trying to protect it because it's such a sensitive area. And so everything locks up around it to try and protect it. And some of these big muscles, when they go into spasm, you know all about it because they're big, strong muscles, so you feel it. I'm just going to share this, which is what I forgot to do. It's better for Facebook purposes, for algorithms and things like that. It's good to share. Facebook's very keen on Facebook Live, so it likes to see things being shared around. So if you get some value, if you've got something interesting in here, then share away down there bottom left, and turn on notifications so that you know when I'm coming on, giving a few of these nuggets of info. Back to this psoas muscle, which is actually it's your fillet steaks, your chateaubriands. Not such good eating in humans, I would suggest, because it has a lot more work to do than it does in a cow. But anyway, that's the muscle. It goes a big muscle which goes from the front of the spine and attaches down inside your groin. And when it contracts, it tends to compress your low back. So quite often you feel like a tight band right across your low back and across your pelvis at the back. It's a really difficult muscle to stretch. There are ways of doing it, but what I would suggest is that you don't really want to do it all that often, or try too hard to stretch it, because this particular muscle, and a lot of these muscles that work subconsciously, that are trying to protect you, they fight back because they're in spasm, or they've tightened up for a reason, and it's to protect you. So they fight back. If you try and stretch it, then they fight back. You quite often find that with people who are desperate to get better as quickly as possible, sports people are often more desperate than others to get better, get back to whatever they were doing. But also people who work for themselves, it's important for them to get back to work, and they can't wait, and they get stressed out about feeling the pain, the fact that they can't do what they want to do, and that actually aggravates the situation, because the muscles just tighten up even more. I don't know how many of you feel, if you do feel stressed and you get some muscle tension, it just makes the muscle tension worse. So you have to be a little bit patient. You have to go with the flow a little bit, and it's quite often better, rather than something that you can stretch away, it's something you need to relax into, and it's almost like sneaking up on it, so that it gets it to relax. So it's something you have to go with the flow a little bit. That's the key to those particular muscles when they're tightening up to protect you. Other muscles, I mean, like with a bit of trauma or a little bruise or something, an impact, you can probably stretch those a bit more easily. But these muscles that have gone into spasm subconsciously or non-consciously are the ones you need to be a little bit careful stretching. But the way to get them to relax is to go and use them. Quite often people feel that this pain, when they go to get up from sitting, it's difficult to get upright, or turning over in bed. That those sort of movements, getting in and out, or particularly out of the car, especially if it's a low car, it's often difficult to get upright to start with. But once you get there, everything's all right. So the best way to get these muscles to relax ultimately is to walk or to do rhythmic movement. So swimming, cycling and walking are usually the best ones, but the best one by far is walking. You get a nice rhythm going. So this isn't just going and walking around the shops or being on your feet or going browsing anything or like that. It's actually going for a walk where you can get a rhythm going. You don't have to march particularly, but if you get a nice rhythm going, then you get the left working against the right, the top against the bottom, the front against the back, and then ultimately everything starts to work together better, and things start to relax. So that's the message for today. Be a little bit wary about stretching, because quite often you can aggravate the situation. So ask your osteopath, chiropractor, physio, or whoever's looking after your body, because they can help you. But otherwise, come back or ask me, send me a message, and I'll help you out. So I hope you found this useful, and if you did, please share away, because this happens to a lot of people, and I think a lot of people could benefit from just having that little bit of information, because quite often they try and stretch these things and it actually makes it worse. So that's the message for today, and I hope you got some value from it. So thanks for tuning in.